Ukraine's battlefield momentum continues to challenge Russian forces, with significant gains that could reshape the conflict. Here's your strat update. Ukrainian forces continued to advance in Kursk Oblast on August 20th, making significant strides along various fronts. Geolocated footage confirmed Ukrainian forces destroyed a Russian pontoon bridge across the Sumy River, indicating tactical superiority. Moreover, Ukrainian troops seized Vishnevka, pushing further into Russian territory. Russian mill bloggers acknowledged these advances, emphasizing the challenges faced by Russian forces in containing the Ukrainian offensive. These developments underscore Ukraine's determination to establish a buffer zone, preventing Russian shelling of Sumy Oblast. Ukrainian forces now control 93 settlements, covering 1,263 square kilometers. The conflict in this region remains intense. Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Colonel General Oleksandr Syrskyi clarified the objectives of the Ukrainian operation in Kursk Oblast. Ukrainian forces aim to create a buffer zone to prevent Russian shelling of Sumy Oblast, pushing Russian forces further from the Ukrainian border. The Ukrainian advance, which extends between 28 and 35 kilometers deep into Russian territory, pressures Russian forces to redeploy from other fronts. This redeployment could slow Russian operations in Ukraine, impacting the overall war effort. Syrskyi's map highlights the areas where Ukrainian forces have advanced, showcasing the success of Ukraine's strategy in this region. The Russian military command's response to the Ukrainian incursion into Kursk Oblast has been marked by bureaucratic confusion. Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov appointed Colonel General Yunusbek Yevkurov as deputy head of the Coordinating Council for Military and Security Issues in Kursk Oblast. This move highlights the growing complexity within the Russian command structure, which now includes overlapping responsibilities between the Russian Ministry of Defense, Federal Security Service, and Rosgvardia. This bureaucratic fragmentation is likely to impede Russia's ability to establish an effective command and control structure, complicating efforts to counter the Ukrainian offensive. Russian forces have begun redeploying units from other fronts to counter the Ukrainian advance in Kursk Oblast. Elements of the 11th Airborne Brigade and 30th Motorized Rifle Regiment have been moved to the region, alongside additional forces from lower priority sectors. These redeployments highlight the strain on Russian forces as they attempt to respond to the Ukrainian offensive. However, pulling units from active combat zones could slow the tempo of Russian operations elsewhere, particularly in Donetsk Oblast. The effectiveness of these redeployments remains uncertain as the situation continues to evolve. Despite the challenges in Kursk Oblast, Russian forces have made marginal advances in Donetsk Oblast, particularly in the Toretsk and Pokrovsk areas. Geolocated footage confirmed Russian advances in Pivnikne and Zalizne, two key settlements in the region. However, the urban nature of these areas may slow Russian progress as they face more fortified Ukrainian defenses. Russian forces also continue to engage Ukrainian troops near Chasiv Yar, further demonstrating their focus on the Donetsk region. The fighting in Donetsk remains intense, with both sides struggling for control. The Ukrainian Navy has significantly impacted Russia's Black Sea Fleet, limiting its ability to conduct operations. Ukrainian strikes have damaged several Russian ships, forcing them to seek repairs in other naval bases, as the main repair facility in Sevastopol is no longer viable. Ukrainian forces have also hindered Russian reconnaissance efforts, forcing them to rely on drones and aviation rather than damaged surface ships. These developments weaken Russia's naval capabilities, particularly in the Black Sea region, where they once held dominance. The strategic balance in this area is shifting in Ukraine's favor. To address personnel shortages, Russian federal subjects have increased monetary incentives for signing military contracts, with some offering up to 1 million rubles. However, reports indicate that Russian authorities are forcibly redeploying injured service members without proper medical treatment, raising concerns about the sustainability of Russia's force generation efforts. Russian mill bloggers have criticized the lack of adequate care for injured soldiers, further highlighting the challenges facing the Russian military. As the war drags on, these issues could significantly impact Russia's ability to sustain its operations on the front lines.